from a different perspective, what you can do to make sure that the problem behaviors or the challenging behaviors are as less as possible. That's very important for us over here. I'm going to share my screen and we will go through this PPT which I have made specially for this particular webinar. So I'll just put it on slideshow. Now, many of the time, parents are coming and asking me one very simple question. Is it that my child is mentally handicapped? Is it that he or she is having intellectual disability? Or sometimes parents are asking that my child is so intelligent. How can he have anything like autism? So if it is not a cognitive dysfunction, then the further queries which would begin in our mind are these. If it is not cognitive skill deficit, then why the IQ is low? If cognitively my child is all fine, then why he or she is making such silly mistakes? If thinking wise everything is okay, then why don't they listen to us? Why don't they just follow what we are trying to tell them? If they are so good in visual perception skills, why can't they just observe us and start learning things? Because we all know that a child with ASD most of the time is so good in visual perception that you give them any visual puzzle, me and you would find it difficult to solve, but this child can solve it very easily. So if visually so good, then what's wrong? Why can't they look at me and just observe? If their learning skills are so good that they do not have any kind of reading and writing difficulty, then what stops them from even comprehending the same? You might have seen that many of these babies, they learn reading without any effort. Just with very simple inputs, they are able to pick up the reading and writing skill. If so, then why they are not able to also comprehend that what they are reading or what they are able to write? The answer is very simple. And how I define autism is just as a very simple software problem. I let all my parents know in a very simple words that the hardware is perfectly fine. Their all lobes are functioning exactly in the same way, the way me and you function. But still, at the neurological level, they are not able to build up the experiences the way me and you we have developed. And that's why they are just very, very factually able to look at things, but they don't go beyond that. You give them a visual puzzle, they are able to fix the facts, but they are not able to fix the facts of life when you are talking to them. That's why my children with ASD during their initial stage, they pick up ABCD so easily, naming colors so easily, naming shapes so easily. Then their speech has no problem. But when it comes to call me mama as I am mama or daddy as you are the daddy, the child finds it very difficult. Why? Because ABCD, color, shapes, all these things are facts. They don't change. But all other aspects are changing. I'm not saying that mama is changing, but the way mama deals with me changes. Mama tells me the same thing in 10 different manners. So this variable aspect of social thinking is difficult for them. Why some of the behaviors are perceived as difficult ones, problematic or challenging? The very first reason is that we don't know how to manage these behaviors. Of course, if I know how to deal with the ghost, my fear of ghost would be gone. But because I don't know how to deal with a ghost always remains a very scary feature for me. We cannot communicate with them. That's another issue because of which their behavior looks problematic to us. We are not consistent in our approaches to them. Our methods are changing constantly to deal with them. And of course, that makes it more difficult to manage their challenging behaviors. We are already overwhelmed with our thoughts that we have this child. I cannot deny that as a human being, when a child is always taken as extension of the self, when I have a child who is having these many issues, it's very difficult to accept, adjust, and then adapt with this thought. This initial stage of coping mechanism takes a toll on us. And in this process, the developing child is already picking up difficult behaviors. We are looking at the problems constantly because they are so visible in nature. They are so much surfacing every moment in front of us that it's very tough to get away from them. We are not trying to look at the solutions which are actually available. We are not able to decide what to address first. So many things. My child is already 4 years old. He is not toilet trained. He shouts for everything. He is not looking at me when I'm trying to talk to him. He doesn't sit at one place. Oh my God, he doesn't know what to put in his mouth and what he should put. So he can keep any dangerous thing also. As a parent, your plate is full and you don't know what you can actually look at first. Another issue, as a professional, I do take the responsibility. Many of us, we are not available to guide you what to expect, how to start this journey once the child has been diagnosed, how to maintain this journey, and then also when to understand, when to decide that yes, this journey is going to be smooth, fluent, and also easy for me. Very few people or very few professionals, I should say, that they are able to guide us about it. If these many questions are there, then what's the answer? What autism is? Autism is definitely an issue related to the mind. What is mind? Mind is bundle of experiences. In autism spectrum disorder, these experiences are limited due to poor social observation skills. That's why in simple siblings, in regular siblings, something which this younger one learns from the elder one just by observing. I hope you all would agree. The younger ones are always very smart. The younger one knows, oh, my elder brother asked for this. He got a tight slap from this mama. So I better don't ask in the same way. This is called vicarious learning. It comes only by observation. Now imagine such a simple tiny thing also. My child with ASD is not able to pick up so easily because they are not observing. So the software to understand this world around us or to function in this world is not developed, or it is not age appropriate. He does not know, or my child with ASD does not know how to see others' perspective. And what is this perspective? How to know that others don't know what I'm thinking until I act on it or I speak about it. Child doesn't know how to manipulate. Child doesn't know that spoken words have two meanings. We humans are too good at it. We don't tell the literal way. And we also know that the actual meaning can hurt others. We are dealing with one girl who is now 16 years old. At her age of 13, when the mother during Diwali asked her, "Dear, this is a sweet box. Why don't you go and give it to your neighbor? We anyways are not going to eat so many sweets." My girl picks up the box, goes to the neighbor, gives to her and says very nicely, "Auntie, anyways, we are not going to eat so many sweets. This box is for you." My girl didn't know that we are supposed to manipulate. We are supposed to tell what is acceptable. I know you will call it a problem behavior. You would really jump to solve it because socially my girl is not going to get accepted so easily. So this is what happens with them. They don't know that language can have two meanings, and people do go beyond the spoken words meaning. We are so lucky, me and you, we have to really thanks to God or Almighty who has really made us. This basic software of social thinking, you and me developed without even any conscious efforts. But please We all would agree that even me and you, we have learnt it only through experiences. And my child is not able to have these experiences the way you and me had it, or your any other so-called regular normal child is creating. If this is the software and we all are trying to understand that this is lacking in my child, then what can be done? There are very simple steps what we have to start working at. And I will directly get into the strategies because I think theory is available a lot on our webs. Bring small changes first of all, and please, these changes should be intentionally done. Keep exposing my child to these changes. What kind of change I'm talking about? The way you look. I tie my hair every day. I'm not going to tie it for a few days. I always wear this small bindi. I'll try to wear a little bigger bindi. Your style of dressing, by changing your room arrangements, by changing wherever you have kept your bed, if it is possible, you change the direction of the bed. You bring changes at the physical level first of all, because that's what is available in my environment as a child. And you cannot make me escape from getting exposed to such surface things which are visible constantly to me. Why I'm doing this? Because change is the only constant thing. And please don't forget that this will only build up the base for adaptation. Why a child with not only ASD for that sake? Why a child with intellectual disability? Why a child with any issues of autism, social communication disorder? Why they are not able to get the acceptance? Because they are not adapting to a given situation the way me and you get adapted so easily. So you call me a problematic child, but did you see that during my developmental period, how you have made me ready for the change? Bring a routine in the child's life and please be very consistent to implement it. Don't lose hope and don't give up. Don't keep changing the methods. You used a method for 3 days and you felt, oh my God, this is not working. Kindly don't give up immediately. Me and you, we are not learning with the same method so easily. I know I'm fat. I must do exercises in the morning, but I'm not doing it. No method is working out so easily for me. Does it mean that I have to give up? No. Let me tell you, I have still saved my 10-year-old dress, thinking that one day I'll fit into it. This works for everyone. Setting a routine, trying that out, works for everyone. After establishing this routine, please bring even variations in this, because I don't want my child to believe that timetable is the ultimate thing and there cannot be any change. Then you will be again caught. Why you would be caught? Because now the child forces you to follow the routine. Give name to child's emotion immediately at its occurrence. Don't wait for anything. This is very important, that my child must know what emotion he or she has exposed or expressed. Sleep is also a behavior. Kindly set the time and make sure that you follow behavior principles until the sleep schedule is actually established. Many parents, they come and tell me that my child is not sleeping till 2 a.m. And then in the morning, he is very lethargic, not able to wake up. And because of that, the whole routine is totally disturbed. We need to make sure that you are having a sleep time. Please, it's already proven that children with ASD can have lot of hyperactivity, and melatonin, the simple hormone which secretes in the body in evening or when the dark actually subsides, we are able to have this melatonin to fall asleep. My babies have little less. So very simple remedy, like, having little dim lights after maybe 8:30 or 9, making sure that we are not having too much stimulating environment. How much time it takes to settle down for the sleep cycle? It takes about 15 days or maximum to 1 month. But this sleep cycle is going to again help you to settle down many of the problem behaviors. Play social game. You might feel that my child is not even looking at me. What like a drama I'm acting out over here when he or she is not even looking at me, not even involving the self. No, that's your myth. The child is at least listening to you intermittently. In between, the child is listening to you. Please play social games more often. And even if your child looks totally indifferent to it, do continue. That's very, very important. This I tell to all my parents, whether it is of ASD or so-called regular child or so-called learning problem, ADHD, anyone. Please, please, please invest in your relationship with the child by playing. In behavior therapy, we learned that it is called pairing. And I was very fascinated by this term. What is this pairing? Pairing basically means that your child should be interested in you. Why this child should listen to you? Why this child should be motivated to be with you? Why a child does so well in front of a therapist? Why not in front of you? Why the child comes back to the square one when they get into this kind of trouble? Child is not interested in you because you are only becoming a dictator for the child. You are so overwhelmed with the problem behavior that you forget that even with difficulty, this child is a child, and play can be unconditionally motivating for any child. Please invest more time in play activities. Automatically, so many concepts learning would take place, cognitive development would happen. More than anything, socially, my child would be more and more interested. How you can prevent further? Please accept, first of all, that what the condition is. I know it's very, very tough. It's very tough for me to accept that my own son is almost moderate level of attention deficit disorder. Oh my God, when I'm sitting with him to make him learn his reading and writing, especially the writing work, I see, we say Brahmand. We don't see the stars, but I see Brahmand. The whole universe is in front of me. He will throw all kinds of temper tantrum, and I have to keep telling myself, Pooja, you're not only a mother, you are a psychologist also. Calm down, don't hit him. It's bad. But you know, the real woman inside wants to come out. I had to do a lot of homework to accept his condition. Learn all the aspects about condition. Please don't go for any shadowy sources. When I say that, even if you are reading a research, do a bit of homework. Is this research really peer reviewed research or not? This research cannot be a feel good factor. I gave $100 to everyone and got some feedback, and then on the basis of that, I'm trying to convince you about any intervention plan or about any information. Please don't go for that. Try to take information from good resources. Especially, you need to learn what autism spectrum disorder is not. We have so many myths and misconceptions about this condition. That should not happen. That creates a lot of frustration. Find out by monitoring your child's progress what is not working for your child. Don't continue any intervention for that sake blindly. Just because it is giving you your child some kind of regular routine, it doesn't mean that I will keep sending my child for something which is not working out properly. This saves yourself from getting frustrated, first of all, and from a feeling that there is no return on investment. Every human is looking for ROI, return on investment. I'm not talking in financial terms. I'm talking in terms of the emotions, what you invest, the efforts, what you are putting for your child's development. It really gives you a devastated feeling when you feel I did so much, but I'm not getting any result. Please monitor. Please look for the reviews. Please accept that there was no mistake of yours. Many parents are constantly thinking that it was my fault and because of that this has happened. Blame games can happen, but I wish that was the truth. Maybe the rate of recovery would have been much better than what it is right now. It was not your mistake. You might have done something which could have facilitated it, but you have not caused it. Please believe that 98% of children with ASD, they are manageable and early intervention works as a magic. Only 2% are Very, very defensive. Yes, I don't deny they give you very tough time, but even they settle down if you have a consistent approach. When you can use all these techniques, or what are the steps, what are the phases? First of all, please look for the prerequisites of social thinking. What are the prerequisites of social thinking? You should look at me when I'm talking to you, or even if you're not giving me this so-called eye-to-eye contact, are you with your body in this situation or not? Suppose if I start taking this webinar, and I'm looking here and there and then dooming, and then all the movements or too much of hand movement, of course you would be lost in my physique. You will not go for my word at all. So bodily, at least, if you are with me or not. Sitting tolerance is definitely one more prerequisite. Some basic knowledge of emotion is another prerequisite for social thinking. So sitting tolerance, parallel play. Parallel play means two children are sitting together, may not interact with each other, but I'm happy with my toy and I'm happy with my toy. This is the first level of play development, what we are looking for. Concept learning, simple concepts like teach me what colors are, what shapes are, how do I do sorting? And everyone would agree over here that my child with ASD picks up concepts very easily. Then comes certain prerequisites of theory of mind. What this theory of mind is, as I told you, it is a bundle of experiences. You are creating in a very systematic way these experiences for me. Over here, second type of play should develop, and that is called reciprocal play. Now I am getting into cause and effect play. You threw the ball, I caught it, and I'm throwing it back to you, and you are supposed to catch it. How you can do this theory of mind? Please make my children believe or understand that changes take place. I already discussed with you. You will do it by bringing it in your daily routine. This knowledge, a self-understanding that changes are continuous thing and life can go on even if these changes are existing. Let them understand that if something is not in front of me, it still exists. Pretend play. Lot of the websites are talking about this knowledge of communication, that even if I don't use words, I can use my gestures to explain something or to communicate something. Knowledge of secret, little higher level. Child should know that this is secret. Like hide and seek game is the best one. Or just for your knowledge, any game in which we try to predict other person's move is called theory of mind game. How? Even simple Ludo. You try to understand, okay, if the two coins are outside, which one the other one can use to kill my coin. Knowledge of surprise, knowledge of humor, very, very important. Please do certain incorrect things in front of the child intentionally. For example, take an eraser and try to write with that. Let the child come and at least look at you with those surprised eyes that what are you doing? You can take a comb or you can comb your hair with a pencil. Let the child see that, oh, the person is doing incorrect thing. You yourself realize that you can laugh in front of the child just to model that I was doing something funny. Concept of emotion, not something easy. It is difficult. How to label it? Labeling comes very easily. But why I should express that emotion? What each emotion can have the intensity? These are two difficult concepts. They are very abstract in nature. But yes, with training, to some extent, we can teach that. Do things every day. Daily exposure can make human learn anything for that sake without major efforts. And that's very, very important. Now, over here, as I have already told you that me and you, we have not paid so much of conscious effort to learn all these aspects. Same way, when I already know that my child with ASD has to put more effort to learn about these things, we have certain more ideas for you. And I will request Sophia to start her presentation, because now she will be dealing with what are the behavioral strategies. If suppose you worked on the prevention mode, and still certain difficult behaviors are popping up, then what we need to do. Meanwhile, I just need some time to get one more slide for you, which I can discuss at the end with you. Thank you so much. Sophia, can you talk about the behavioral strategies, dear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Hi, everybody. So, Pooja, if you can stop sharing.
Yeah, I did.
So I'll be talking to you regarding what are the strategies and how you can plan a routine for the child so that the day goes by easily and you are able to manage the behaviors of the children. Let me just share a PPT with you all. I hope you all can see this. So, is this visible?
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you. So we are going to talk about behavior management techniques. So when I'm talking about these behavior management techniques, first I want to talk to you all regarding routine. What is a routine? A routine is the day-to-day activities that we all do in a religious manner, and we unknowingly or knowingly we get into a habit of performing it every day. As it is important for us to have a routine these days, because of the lockdown we all are either in a very messed out routine. Do not have any time to eat or to sleep or to do any of our work because we are all in our homes. In the same way, the routine is also very important for our children with ASD. So the first step would be to help them develop a schedule. How would you develop a schedule as a parent? You know that your child can be under any of the range from mild to moderate with this symptom. So depending upon their functional level, we would suggest you to make a routine chart. Before you make a routine, always make it a point to communicate with the child. Talk to them, let them know what we are planning to do and how it is going to be scheduled. Try to make a visual schedule which can have pictures or objects that will make it easier for your child to understand. This would be done on basis of their functional level. So how would you divide it? Divide the day between wake up time to lunch time and lunch time to evening. So have small schedules done for you. In the schedule, you should always have a reinforcement and consequence. What is a reinforcement now? Whenever a child does something good, you are trying to praise it either with a good job or a clap or a tickle or a hug based on what the child likes, something that the child likes. A reinforcement is very different from bribery. Bribery is where you tell the child, if you do this, I will give you this. We are talking about reinforcing the good behaviors that the child is doing at a very consistent manner. In the same way, I would like you to have consequences also in place. So suppose if you have set up a schedule where the child is supposed to do 5 minutes of reading or some activity. If at all the child is unable to do that, have a timeout corner in your house. A timeout corner will be a place where you will also sit with the child for that particular amount of time. Timeout corner does not mean that you put the child in the corner for say 1 hour or 2 hours. No, it is always calculated based on the age of the child. So suppose if my child is about 6 years old, my timeout should be about for 5 minutes, not more than that. These schedules should always be pasted in the visibility of the child. You have a schedule in place, you have everything, you have talked out, but if it is not visible to the child, you cannot expect the child to work according to it. So it should be visible to the child. At the end, I would show you a picture of a visual schedule that I'm talking about. Let's go on to once your routine is made. Now, your next point would be now, how do I make them follow? I have done everything. I've spoken to my child. I've made the routine. How should it be followed? So, and that has to be followed very consistently. Otherwise, you will not be able to achieve your targets. So this is done with the help of the reinforcement and consequences. So when the child has performed about 2 to 3 activities that you have kept in your schedule, you would reinforce the child for the behaviors. So the child gets to know that once a given task is completed, he gets either a chocolate or a hug or a good job, or even a screen time can be given. As of now, because of the lockdown, the children are completely at home. Screen is the only reinforcing factors for most of them. So you can surely give them a screen time in a limited amount of time, which is given it as a reinforcer, not giving it for longer periods of time. And surely, please do not use screen as a feeding time option, because then the child knows that if I'm not eating, automatically I am going to get it for my food time. In the same, even the consequences has to be consistent. Always try to maintain a proper balance between your reinforcers and your consequences. Today, because I have work and I'm busy with anything, the child comes to me and I give away. I do not give him a consequence for the behavior that he's done. That gives your child an idea that if I go to mama when she is busy, she is surely going to give in. Consistency is the only key to maintain and follow the routines. Giving a consequence does not mean that you create an environment that the child feels that you dislike them. No, we want to make it clear to the child that you dislike their behavior, but not the child itself. So this is very, very important. Many a times the kind of words that we use also while giving a consequence can give a feeling to the child that mama does not love me. So be very cautious when you're using words. While placing your consequence, make sure that the consequences are such that you can actually abide by it. Do not say something that you cannot give in on. It's like many a times we have a habit of saying, I will never talk to you now. No, that's not going to work out, because very next minute we are going to talk to the child or communicate for something or the other. So it does not work as a consequence for the child. While giving a consequence to the child, always maintain a straight face. Do not show anger expressions or mellow down. So you should not even show that you're guilty about giving a consequence to the child, because they would understand that when she's behaving like this, she's herself guilty and can be used to manipulate also. You can have an alarm clock fixed, which would help to give an auditory feedback to the child, so that the child would be able to remember the routine and follow it accordingly. Next, I would like to talk to you about meltdowns. Many a times the parent comes and says that they take the child to a supermarket or to a crowded place, and the child, without their knowledge what exactly happens, suddenly begins to cry. What is a meltdown? A meltdown is basically when the child or anybody of us is unable to cope up with the situation. Because we all are adults, we normally are able to let the other person know, or because we have that thinking capacity, we can tell that yes, I'm not liking this, or I'm uncomfortable about it, or I don't want to do it. But a child does not understand that. So what is the only way to cope up? That is to throw a tantrum, or to cry, or to scream, or to try and run away. So let's talk now about some tips that you can be using it during these meltdowns. First and foremost, try to distract the child from that particular environment. If possible, please take the child away from the situation to a calmer or a quieter place. This is mostly seen when we are in a public place, that if this happens, we as parents get very conscious about it, that my child is crying and everybody's looking at me, what would they say about me? Please, it's okay. If they are talking about you, it's absolutely okay. At this point of time, you need to be there for your child without thinking what others are going to feel about it. So please take your child away from that environment, calm him down. Never try to immediately talk to him, because he's not going to understand. He is himself in a very anxiety situation. He does not know what to do, how to handle it. So he is already crying, he's already shouting. If you are going to try to talk to him in such a situation, it is only going to create a mess, nothing else. Many a times we have also suggested some parents to use sensory inputs, that is in a form of a weighted blanket or a jacket, or some toys, that the fidget toys, which are easily available these days, that can also be used as a distractor, or also to calm the child down during a meltdown. I would like all the parents to be cautious. Never use a physical restraint. That cannot be used. Just because your child is crying or is throwing his legs off does not mean that you are going to, physically restrain the child. No, that will only agitate the child and create and worsen the situation. At the same time, the child should also know that because he's having a meltdown and is crying, it is okay. They can cry at times. Always, we cannot give in into their wishes and fulfill whatever they are asking us to do. So suppose if it's in a supermarket and the child is crying for a chocolate, and we know that chocolate is something which is not to be given to the child, it's okay to lift your child and walk away from the supermarket. You don't have to always give by whatever their demands are, because that will only increase their demands and your meltdowns will all the more increase. So these are some of the tips that I hope are useful for the parents to handle their meltdowns, to plan for their schedules and routines of the child. Aishwarya, I am open for any questions if parents have for me.
Yeah, we'll just take a 10-minute break right now. They have to fill the feedback form, so
Sure.
we can do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me stop sharing this.
Yeah.
Before Aishwarya shares the feedback link, could I request everyone in parallel to start posting your questions, because Aishwarya will then read through the questions based on what you post on the chat window.
So Ambika, can I take 2 quick minutes and just...
Sure. We're going to take 10 minutes for feedback. So yeah, please take some time for yourself.
I will be quickly telling you about the
slide.
You
need to show something. Sure.
Yes. One slide I missed.
Sure.
I please happily accept that I am a person with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I do get sometimes impulsive, and same thing happened while presenting this slide also. So I will quickly tell you what I missed upon, and I feel that this is very important. So guys, I have been telling you now a lot about theory of mind. How do you create these experiences? That is very, very important. So please create experiences by explaining everything possible. Yes, I do agree you have to become a parrot, but whatever you do, please explain. Create experience for my child with ASD through your video. They like video, it's okay. Please, can you make your video? You and your husband talking about some concept. You are dancing and making a video of a rhyme. I hope you all would agree that they like to see only repeated things. In the same video, if you will run a video of Panchatantra story, my child with ASD wouldn't like that. Why? Again, it's a human looking figures in that, and they're talking about a story. So please, you making your video will give them the exposure of human beings. That's more important. Create experiences by verbalizing your thought. Whatever you are thinking, which you want my child to learn, please talk about it. Create experiences by playing on child's behalf. Don't only put them into the group and hold their hand and play. No, become a child and please play as if your child is going to play. Create experiences by making your own jigsaw puzzle. My child with ASD is very good in visual perception. So please use that to make a jigsaw puzzle for a daily routine activity. So you are giving a picture in which the child is brushing. That picture you have cut into 5 different pieces, and then you give them the pieces and you ask them, now put them together and make a meaningful picture out of it. Create experiences by making social stories. Extremely important and a wonderful way. We are using social stories in our centers to teach these babies how to be in the school, how to follow a school routine, how the lunchtime bell rings, and how they have to go and eat, how they have to wash their hand, how they should put the napkin. A very serious issue of a teenager, which is immature sexual interest sometimes, masturbation. All this also we are able to address just by using simple social stories. Some of my babies, they are very, very interested in animals. Please use animals to do all the social skill role plays, as if horse is telling something to rhino and they are chit-chatting with each other. That's very important. So this slide, it will be given to you, but please try to work on creating experiences in systematic way. If I'm not wrong, Sophia can correct me. There is one program called Gemini,
Yes.
Gemini, and Gemini is working on the same principle. Not so great again for Indian system because their videos are on Western faces. So if we can make these simple videos for our children, as parents, as siblings, that's going to be very helpful. Thank you. Yes, Ambika, over to you, dear.
Great. Thank you, Pooja. So could we take 5-10 minutes? Aishwarya just shared the feedback link. We'll post it again, but in the meantime, people have started posting questions. Could you keep doing that while?
Or I can see too many.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
just see.
We will go through it and read it out to you, so you don't have to sort of
So
scroll
Ambika, I can see that some Ratna Prabha has asked, will it be available to listen again? I think you can answer.
Yes, yes. So we had already mentioned we are going to be recording the session. We will be posting it to our YouTube channel. Before we leave, we will share links of where you can find the footage. We will do that when we sort of when we close the webinar.
Thank
for
you,
sure.
Ambika. And Ambika,
Yeah.
I hope you will give me also a copy of the recording.
Of course, of course, of course. Yeah, yeah. You will.
I would love to look at myself, sometimes.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, absolutely.
Deepa
So could we take 10 minutes, Pooja? First, we just want to get feedback before we jump
Sure.
into questions, and Aishwarya will read through the questions in order for you.
Please.
Yeah. Okay. So Aishwarya, do the honors, please.
Oh, we're starting? I thought we'll give them about 5 minutes to fill the form.
No. I mean for the feedback. Could you?
Yeah, I sent the link.
Sure.
Yeah, to all the parents, please fill the feedback. It helps us plan future webinars like this one. Also, we do have peer support groups for parents for different cities, for different intellectual disabilities. So if you do want to, connect with other parents and know about the various webinars we do, if you fill the form and say you want to be added on the group, we will add you. And also on our website, we have a lot of information resources. So Ambika and I have sent the link on the chat. You can just click directly. If you have an old version of Zoom, you might have to copy paste it and do it, paste it on a browser. So if you have any problem with the link, let us know. We'll give you about 5 minutes and then we'll start answering the questions. So when we ask the question, we'll unmute you and you can give Pooja and Sophia a bit more context while the question is being asked. But for the major part, we'd request you guys to still stay on mute. Thank you. Just let us know if you have any problems with the form.
So just 5 minutes, Pooja and Sophia.
Sure.
We will take a short break.
Please.
All right.
a mom, if you have already cracked it, that this child is doing it just to fulfill, please don't give. Do not raise your voice. Allow the child to cry. No physical restraint at all. Yes, you can give something once the child, like, you have to be like a robot. The minute child takes a pause of not crying, immediately you are barging in and giving something else to play. Why we are doing this robot kind of intervention? My child has to link. Same mother gives me attention when I don't cry. Same mother is giving me something which is still interesting, may not be something which I want, but is still interesting when I don't cry. Everyone has to understand one thing very clearly. Our challenge is behavior. Our challenge is not child. So you need to be very cautious. Please drink a lot of Horlicks, because your child has come to a stage where he would need a lot of efforts from you. The more you react, the more you respond, the more trouble you are going to invite.
Yeah, because he doesn't talk, he just blabbles. So he'll take my hand and he'll show. Nowadays he takes my hand for the things totally and tells me what he wants.
That's improvement, Deepa. That's improvement. Please, everyone, if you all are listening to me, making temper tantrums, telling lies, stealing, all these are though bad, but something like a developmental phase for my child with ASD. We have to celebrate whenever they start doing it, because they are learning how to manipulate in this world. Please don't stop or don't start addressing everything through behavior modification. You have to resolve it. I'm not denying that you should not solve the problem. You have to solve, but please address only to the behavior, and also understand that your child is now becoming socially intelligent. Okay, Deepa?
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I can see Snehal. My child is 5.5 years old, speech delay problem. How to make her?
Sorry to interrupt you. There's another question before that, so I'll just. Yeah, Brian had a question. Brian, I didn't really understand, so I'm just gonna unmute you if you could just ask.
He has put his question actually at the bottom. Then how two girls he has, two children, and if one gets into the meltdown, it triggers the meltdown of the other child. Am I right, Brian?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, I will tell you the brief scenario. Okay. We are pretty happy with both the kids. My daughter is 12, son is 10, both under the spectrum. And in life, as such, they are doing pretty good in terms of their activities, etc. They are pretty good in sports and very well acclaimed everywhere. But having said that, every parent is doing the best thing for the child. Okay. And sometimes we feel like, that despite doing this, if, whenever we ask a lot of therapists about this question, that what happens is every day my day goes on very well. Okay. We have a very good coordinated effort at home with me and my wife, both the kids, everything going on very well.
Very nice.
Yeah. So now what happens is early in the morning, I'll start with that. Okay. My mornings are always like, unpredictable.
Okay.
So my daughter has learned it in a good way, that how things has to be done, how is the schedule to be maintained, what is the right way of doing it, etc. Now my son, on the other hand, he has a lot of issues in terms of waiting period. He is like a computer who has a late startup.
Okay.
So generally, when we talk to him, like we ask him to do something, he takes maybe like we do a counting from our end, say 30 seconds. Okay. His name is Bryden. We tell him, okay, Bryden, please go for bath. Okay. Now when he's sitting, like he'll wait. He takes his own time, to go to have bath. In the meantime, my daughter Joanne, she has heard the command.
Okay.
Okay. Now she is say like that mom and dad has told Bryden to go for bath. He has to go immediately.
Okay.
Okay. Now we know the A, B, and C. Okay. That this is going to happen.
Yes. Okay.
There is no chance that I can keep them away to give them a command separately so the other person doesn't understand. All these tricks we have tried. Okay. So every morning I have to see to it that I wake up Bryden pretty well in advance. Okay, so that I do whatever my dramas, everything, so that he gets into the washroom. By the time he is done, my daughter is up, then the day is smooth.
Okay.
Okay, so we have understood, we have spoken to a lot of therapists, everything I have done, but this is a challenge, all visual schedules, everything at that moment goes for a toss,
Very true. Very true. See,
and this is every day.
yeah. And see, Brian, one thing which we all have to accept, though practically you have already come up with a compensatory mechanism that you wake him up in the morning and make him do the things. But this is not going to happen throughout the life.
Exactly.
So you have to look at two aspects of it. One, your daughter. My daughter has to understand that how she has to think about that situation. So very simple social story, and Tom is going to help her for sure. Why I'm saying for sure? Because with your explanation, it looks like that she is cognitively much better. She has intellectualized many things, and her social thinking is also slightly better. She's into a mode which is called ideal thinking. What is ideal thinking mode for my ASD? They start getting into should behavior. If this is said, it has to be done. You cannot go here and there. Okay, so we have to work only with your daughter. Automatically your son's problem can be addressed. Now let's talk about son also. Looks like that he's also pretty good, but only difficulty is happening with self-regulatory mechanism. This is one mechanism, Mr. Brian, in our children which is poor. I'll give you a very simple example. If you make them sit with you, you give them activities, they are pretty good at it. They are calm, they are able to follow your structure, they are very well behaved children. The minute you take away activity from them and they are idle, now they don't know what to be done. Then they start roaming around, then they start getting into difficult behaviors. Now looks like that he has learned everything, but he still doesn't know how to do this self-commanding, this self-regulation. Another simple example can be, you got me a very good fan, but you forgot to fix the regulator. Now I do things according to my mood. Either I will do full swing or I will not do at all, or I'm waiting for your command. So this compensatory mechanism, what you are using, sir, that has to continue for a while. But please, please, please start working on the other aspect of preparing your daughter that what her self is. All commands are not taken in the same way by everyone. Maybe after the session, I'll write a simple social story for you and a simple theory of mind exercise, what you should start doing with this child. Because, sir, one day you and me, we both will die. My child has to survive without us. At that time, no compensatory mechanism would be there. No practical methods are going to be worked out. So when she is intelligent, let's work on a little higher level. She would be able to understand that every day in the morning, even if my daddy is dealing with my brother, doesn't mean that he is dealing with me. I don't have to get into that. And it will resolve your, I don't know, I don't want to call it a problem, sir. It happens, I think, almost everywhere. One child is crying, the other child looks at him and starts crying. Okay, so this can be handled just by telling my dear girl that things are different for her and for her brother. We don't have to get affected.
Yeah, the issue becomes like, because since both are on the spectrum.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Okay. So it becomes very stressful, especially when you know what is going to happen.
I know, Mr. Brian, I don't want to say that other problems are bigger, but I do have one girl. Okay, she is 16. I just now before some time talked about her.
Yeah.
You know what is her dilemma right now? I like boys. I like men. When they are going on the road, I like them. Why can't I go and talk to them?
Touch them, yeah.
Okay. She asked me one question which changed my whole perspective of looking at them. And listen to this question also. I think this will give you at least some solace that my kids are intelligent. They need their answers. She sat with me in the therapy session and asked me, and it is for everyone, Pooja auntie, my mom does not like her mother-in-law, does it mean that I should not like my grandmother? Now just imagine that as an adult, what all we do, sometimes we do force them to have a relationship according to our perspective. Now that's the magic of theory of mind. She has experiences. I just have to tell her that your mom is manipulating. You also learn how to manipulate in a productive way. Okay. So same way, sir, this issue can be handled indirectly. Directly, only the measurement what you have taken is the best, because you cannot create ruckus in the morning. Everyone is preoccupied in the morning time, but it is high time that you start preparing your daughter also. We'll take up one more question. And sir, my email ID is there in the slide itself. I'm going to, you just shoot an email to me. I'll write the theory of mind exercise and also the social story for you.
Thanks.
Sophia, I think you can help me out if I'm missing on anything. Okay.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, the next question is from Snehal. My child is 5.5 years old, speech delay problem. How to make her calm in many situations as her speech is not clear?
Okay.
So, Snehal, I've unmuted you if you can.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Snail. I think you mean to say that how to calm her down.
Yes, right. Actually, she is not an autistic child.
Okay.
She has a pachygyria problem.
Okay.
And due to which her understanding level is good.
Okay.
But only speech delay problems. Means I have to deal with oral motor problems. Means her chewing is not good. Drooling problem is there. Now little bit her speech is there, but not clear or spontaneous. So due to which what happens right now at her age, the child of her age, she is not comfortable to play with them.
Of course.
That means 8-year-old, maybe we are having joint family. So her cousins are there. So if 8 years, 10 years old cousins are there, she is very comfortable with them.
Of course, because
but at the same age, 5 to 6 years age kids are then she'll go back towards step that I don't want to mix with them. Means she doesn't express it, but I know according to her expressions that I able to know that she is not comfortable with this situation.
Okay, Snehal. So the first thing is that we are predominantly dealing with the speech delay and oromotor difficulties. Yes. It's true that speech delay and language impairment creates a vicious circle in our life, because my intelligence is all fine. I'm able to observe through my eyes and through my body that the other person is judging me because of my poor speech. This sense of being judged starts right at the age of 1. So she's already 3. It's very natural for her to get frustrated, to be with the peer group especially. Elders, she's comfortable because elders are already protective. Even if she makes an approximation of word, they are able to understand and they are reciprocating with her. So if I'm not wrong, here the question is not how to calm her down. See, any problem behavior can occur because of 5 possible things. You are talking about the first one, which is called skill deficit. Here, the child is not calm or not regulated because she doesn't know the thing. The skill itself has not developed. Which skill I'm talking about? The speech skill. What we have to do, first of all, your speech therapist has to start working more on the social situations. This is called language processing. Even if I'm not speaking, how I am understanding through the non-verbal communication. Second important thing, to you also, very good approach of social story, behavior therapy to make me aware how social skills are required when I'm with the peer group would work out. Now imagine I have mouth ulcers. Okay, I have mouth ulcers and every second day I'm getting this problem. But you as my mom is just giving me ice and you are telling me, Pooja, you just do the gargle of ice water, you will be kind of better. You are addressing to my problem superficially. I will come back with my problem again to you. So better would be, please work at the root, because she is only 3 years old. Same problem behavior.
Hello.
Yes.
She's 5.5.
She is 5.5. Still little young. If you will come to me with the same problem at the age of 12 years, then my whole approach will be very different, Snehal. Then I cannot go and correct the root cause. That time is gone. Still, your child is at a stage where you can work on social learning, social stories, simple behavior modification, no punishment, no consequences in this. You have to work as if you are building up new desired behavior. Okay. I wish, Nehal, that I had a strategy like that, because you are talking about a problem which is quite large at its nature. Why I say that?
Actually, she is social, means there is no problem of her. It means she loves the school. She goes to play with the kids. She's social. She loves the people rather most.
Wonderful.
But sometimes her behavior, what I start now, that she feels that this is the point, I don't want to do this, means I can't able to do that. So she didn't try on it. Yes, I want to do that, means the age my cousin is doing, but I can't do now, then leave it. I don't want to go in that situation only to learn.
Okay.
Because they are doing very good.
I'm
not
so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but we do have a lot of questions.
I know.
So if we could end this a bit.
Snehal's question has totally changed now, and this answer is going to be again another 5 minutes. Snehal, tata, bye bye. My email is there. We will connect.
Yes, sure. Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm sorry, but we do have a lot of questions.
You can see that 5 o'clock is my case. So please, would definitely try my level best to answer some more.
The next question is from Anita Lobo. I've unmuted you. Can the theory of mind be developed by early exposure to social interaction?
Yes, 100%. You
Anita,
can use.
does that answer your question?
Yeah. Anita Lobo, please. Theory of mind is something so magical. You should start using it right after the birth of baby. Okay? Right after birth of baby. Because me and you, we have done it right from that moment. Nobody told us not to observe your mom when she's upset and I'm just 1 day old baby. I do that as a baby. So please, theory of mind does not have any age. It's just that me and you, we don't know how to intervene into that. We give you some exercises only after age 3.
Okay. Thank you so much.
The next question is from Shivaram. He said, my son will be watching light or fan for a long time. How to get rid of that?
Okay, Shivram, I really don't know if you have done any sensory profile evaluation for your child. Most of the time, moving fan especially, or the fan which was running and you have just now switched off, they love to look at it because they have vestibular issues. They like any rotatory movement for that sake. So what happens, because most of the time our fans and lights, they are at the ceiling, the child starts looking at the light also. So you need to have a good occupational therapist in your team who should tell you some simple activities which can be purely home-based also to stimulate my vestibular system, and I can compensate it by doing desired activities rather than looking at the moving fan. You might notice that these babies, they put the car upside down and play with the wheel. They may keep something and keep rotating. So you definitely should contact a good OT. Occupational therapist can give you a better solution.
Ma'am, even while doing activities, he used to cry a lot.
Again, a little large question. While doing activities, children can cry because they are perceiving threat into it. They don't like sitting tolerance or your way of commanding. So we need to understand that why exactly the child is crying, and then we can address it accordingly. Suppose if the child is crying because your activity is taken as a difficult one, please come at least 3 steps down. If suppose you want a child to sit, please start only with 1 minute activity. It is for everyone. Start with 1 minute activity, you only leave the child. Grab the child again after 10 minutes, do for 1 more minute. Like that, 10 different minutes. That is going to give you good result. And slowly start increasing your time. A therapist can take 45 minutes at a stretch because therapists are trained for it. As a parent, don't frustrate yourself because I'm dependent on you. I cannot do anything by seeing a child 45 minutes, 3 days of the week, or even 6 days of the week. Behavior therapy has to be way of life. My all dear parents, please learn. Please request the therapist to allow you to take the session in front of them, and then they should correct you. Without that, we are not going to achieve anything for my child. Okay, Shiv, please, Mr. Shiva, I want you to contact a good occupational therapist.
Yeah, ma'am. One last doubt. When he gets some pain, he can't express like actually why for he is crying. Suppose it might be a pain of digestion or
So,
some.
Shiva Garu, then for sure he is having poor registration. Poor registration. You touched me, I'm not able to feel that so much. So if a child is not expressing the pain,
Yeah.
either through talk or through some crying or through some kind of pointing, we have to take care through OT. They have to work on the registration capacity of my body.
Okay.
Okay. The next question is from Nupur. How to deal with pre-puberty emotional issues in children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder?
So Nupur, the first thing is they also get all the interest, all the puberty related changes exactly the way any other child would go through. Now, here the child doesn't know what these changes are. A so-called child, a regular child would get through this problem and show you the aggression. This child also shows you aggression. This child verbally explains to you, this child is not able to explain to you. So please, all parents whose children are near about achieving the puberty, please start communicating to them through lots of picture. Their social stories are based on pictures. Please don't get stuck at speech therapy. If the child is not talking, do come up with the PECS method. I hope everyone knows about PECS method, Picture Exchange Communication System. Please, it's a very simple software. A child with going through the puberty changes, they really need to communicate, but they don't know how. When you give them this tool, they would be able to communicate to you and their frustration levels would automatically come down. Second important aspect, even if my so-called regular child is going through these changes, I become all of a sudden very tolerable. So you solve the problem through environment and by addressing the child. In puberty stage, environment has to be changed. Environment is of two types, social and physical. What is this social? Your attitude. All the adults in the family have to start understanding that there would be some more temper tantrums. There can be some more rejections from this child. So please, you need to start understanding what you can ignore, what you really have to address. Anything which is sexual in nature has to be addressed. Not like if, I think even me and you, we have our own personal space. So please teach my child if he wants to do something where he can do, rather than totally eliminating that behavior. Don't want to go too much in detail. I hope you all understood what I'm trying to say. In puberty, I can get into a lot of emotional turmoil because hormonal changes are also taking place. So you need to give me expression. You need to tell me what I can use to let you know what I'm going through. Picture exchange method can be the best one if child is not verbal. If the child is verbal, then having some simple discussions would really help. Nupur, if any further thing, dear, please shoot an email to me.
So we are not able to unmute Nupur for some reason, so I'll ask her to email you.
That would be
The next question is from Udaya Vedagiri. My 5-year-old is good when doing tabletop activities. I can use any of his toys. Sorry, 1 second. Any of his toys during that time, but he doesn't want me to touch any of his toys during his free play.
Okay, Udaya, I really don't think that's a problem, dear.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Even I don't think it's a problem, but sometimes it's like if he's playing with some sort of alphabets or something and he doesn't find one alphabet, and if I try to help him saying that it's there, like I should tell him, I should not go and get it to him. If I go and get,
see, I don't know if you have gone through with the experience of rearing a so-called normal child who is going through this stage. You would surely notice, dear, that they want to do everything on their own.
Yeah, ma'am. Like,
They don't allow you to touch. Like, you know, my boy, when he was 2 years old, he wanted to wash his own potty, and I was not at all ready for that.
I
Like,
know.
you won't. And you know, you
Yeah.
become very pathetic mother at that time.
Very true.
Please leave this child. He's
Okay.
good because he's
Yeah.
allowing you to intervene when you are doing tabletop activity. All your teacher's ego you can satisfy during that time.
Okay, ma'am. No, sorry, I don't want to take long time, but then it's like I should not touch it. Even if I get it, he'll go and keep it in the same place and he'll
Yes,
get it himself.
yes, they do that. Please,
Okay.
during
Okay.
free play, let it be
Yeah.
free play. It's
I know.
his free
Yeah.
play. You should
All right.
also play freely with him rather
All right.
than becoming a teacher during the free play time.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay?
ma'am.
Please
And
let him enjoy.
yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. The next question is from Tawfiq. My 9-year-old girl child is diagnosed with autism. She talks by herself repeatedly, whatever she learns from school, like good touch, bad touch, social stories. She repeatedly talks about it all day. How can I handle?
So, Tawfiq, first thing is, my children, they keep repeating anything. Let's say you by mistake said that we are going for a picnic. They may keep repeating that now throughout the day. Why do they do that? They don't get a validation on their own. They want it to be heard again and again through their own auditory loop. Okay? Very simple strategies of gestures. For example, making them understand through social stories again that saying it 1 or 2 times is enough, or whenever they get into this, showing them this gesture works out. But please remember, all these techniques what I'm telling, it comes with a bundle of behavior therapy strategies. You said she stopped, immediately it has to be rewarded by letting her know, wow, I'm so happy with this gesture. You are not repeating good touch, bad touch. When you do that, then after a period of time, you will notice that they have learned how to do this internal thinking. See, it's just a simple thing that my child wants to tell herself good touch and bad touch. She doesn't know that there is something called internal thought, which is my internal speech. I don't have to speak it outside. They keep speaking it outside to make them hear. Okay, so simple behavior strategies only should be used. Please, no punishment for this. No punishment for this.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, the next question is from Hari Krishna. My son was aggressive yesterday, was screaming and pinched me. I tolerated and made him calm. Not sure why he did it. How do I get to know? He's 10 years old. He speaks very little, doesn't communicate all the time.
So, Hari Krishna, there are many dimensions to this question right now. But to let you know one simple thing, if it was one pinch in his all 10 years of life to you, it's okay, we can ignore. But if pinching is his problem behavior, we cannot ignore, because this is a behavior which can hurt others. A very simple, emphatic no, showing or conveying your displeasure, is very important right at the time of occurrence. A very simple physical restraint, no, very simple. Children with autism do not like your harsh physical restraint. They will get into meltdown immediately. That's why already you heard Sophia saying no physical restraints. But in such situation, you can use a mild one, no. Emphatic no, conveying displeasure would be very, very important. Now, if you want to know about ABC of it, we need to definitely observe the child, that what is making him feel uncomfortable in a given situation. It all depends. What is the frequency of the problem behavior and what is the intensity? If it is frequent one, yes, we need to teach you how to observe, how to understand that what happened just before, during and after, and what is maintaining it.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Sophia, do you have anything to add?
No.
No.
Okay, the next question.
Sophia, I said on your behalf. Aishwarya,
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I may be able to take one more because
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
That's fine. Then Sophia, would you be able to stay, or do you also have to leave by 5?
No, we'll have to leave.
Okay, then we'll end this question. Would it be okay if we gave the parents your email ID so we
Sure,
can
sure.
send you?
Absolutely. Please.
Okay, this is the
One
last
or two
question.
questions I actually went through the chat, and whatever I could answer them privately, I've even messaged some parents privately regarding schedules and regarding consistency of maintaining it and how important it is to talk to the child. So I've messaged one or two parents private because their questions I could easily take it up. So just addressed it in the chat also.
Okay, that sounds good. Then this is the last question, and parents will give you the contact so you can reach out to them.
Sure.
My son is 8 years old. He's playing with ABCD and numbers from the time that he's 2.5. He doesn't want to leave it all. I want him to learn other things. That is his obsession. How to use it as his strength. He knows colors, shapes, and even a lot of spelling. Does not want to move further.
Okay, Prerna, the first thing is, dear, see, he likes A, B, C, D and all these things because I told in the beginning of session, A, B, C, D, color, shapes, they are factual. They don't change. They remain same. That's why these things are my favorite, and it can become almost an obsession for me. Some kids, they do it for animals. They love to see only Nat Geo channels. They love to see only the scientific stuff. Or some of them, they get stuck to this ABCD. I'm very sorry, but this is not the strength right now. I would love if this baby can be moved away from ABCD colors and other things, but do in a very, very subtle manner. What do I mean? Now you have to pair this ABCD with something else which you want to address to. Let's say I want my child to now learn brushing. Okay. Now every time you are going to sit with a brush and you are actually brushing ABCD. You are taking the letter in your hand and you are brushing.
Okay.
You are sitting or keeping in my visual field a toothbrush, a towel, toothpaste every time. My child has to accidentally, then incidentally, then systematically add these three objects. And then only you would be able to create the interest. Please don't go too fast because your child is already 8 years old. If you will go too abruptly, he is going to throw more problem behaviors in front of you. It is almost like, I'm alcoholic. No, I'm not. I'm alcoholic and I love to drink. And you one fine day come and tell me that, Pooja, it's very bad for your health. I am going to show you all my withdrawal symptoms. Same way, if my child is super duper interested only in this activity, of course, it's very natural for my child to get into the trouble. What kind of trouble? He is going to throw more tempers to you. He will be aggressive. He may push you, pull you, and do all sorts of things just to communicate one aspect. I like it. You give me back. And that's why we feel very helpless as parents. See, when they throw their problem behavior, we don't know what to do. What happens? We give them. So double damage. Oh, as a child, if I cry, if I roll down on the floor, if I'm pulling my mother's hair, pakka, I'll get what I want to get. Okay. So you need to pair the favorite thing with the non-favorite. Exposure has to be parallel again and again and again. And then very gradually, for 2 to 3 seconds, you will remove favorite thing from the side and you will keep non-favorite and you go so on. Okay. Please, my humble request to all the parents. I know that we become super happy when our children, they start playing with these letters, colors, when they start telling these things. I know how proud my parents, they feel and they come and inform me. Please, ABCD can come at any point of time in my life. Teach me how to play. Teach me how to look at others. Teach me how to enjoy your facial expressions. Teach me how to enjoy your scolding also, or how to feel upset with your scolding. Don't get so fascinated, so attracted to the academic stuff. Even writing for that sake. Many parents, they come and tell me, Pooja, teach writing first.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Aishwarya, just 1 second. I had told that I would show a visual schedule, how it looks like. Can I just show that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So I'll just share my screen and show how does a visual schedule look like. So this is what I was talking about. So the visual schedule would always have, you know, the child's name if the child can read, or the picture of your child. Then all the activities that he's supposed to be doing kept in a picture wise. So like here we can see that it's a school schedule here. So he has assembly time, then cutting time, having a breakfast, then reading time, writing time, then again having some snack. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a visual schedule. You can also have, if the child understands pictures, then fine. If the child understands objects, then you can also have a object schedule like this. So this is a rack. The child's picture is there, and then according to what activities you want him to do, you place small objects in there. So like it's a block activity time or a writing time or a snack time. So you can have a box for it. Similarly, you can have your bathing time, a bucket, for eating some plate, for dressing up a doll which is wearing a proper dress. Those kind of things and objects can be used to help the child understand what activity they are supposed to be done. And once this activity is done, they remove that particular thing from this rack and put it down, which shows that it is done, so it is finished. So these kind of schedules also help the child to understand how much activity they are supposed to do, how much time will it take them to complete, and what they are supposed to do. So it increases their predictability of what is next. One of the points that is very important, why meltdowns also happen, is because these children cannot predict things, which we can easily. So predictability is also an issue why meltdown happens. They do not know how to behave. They do not know what is going to happen. So these kind of schedules help them to do that. Hope that helps to understand the visual schedules.
I think all would agree that if you put us also in a situation which is not predictable, you will feel miserable. You will feel miserable. You will get into crying very easily. But yes, because our software is all working, so what happens? You immediately calculate, okay, fine, how to predict on my own. Help my children to develop that software, please. Please create experiences for them in a systematic way. Make your videos and show that to child, okay? Thank you so much for your patient learning. And please, please, please don't lose your sense of humor. Keep laughing, keep smiling. That keeps you energetic. Okay, one day I will become thin and I will fit into my 10-year-old dress and I will do this webinar again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pooja and Sophia, for doing this. Thank you. The parents who haven't filled the feedback form, we've sent the links again. Please do fill it up. Thank you, Pooja and Sophia. You guys can leave the meeting. We're just going to do the wrapping up stuff.
Okay, so just now I received one message from Ambika. Yes, Ambika, why not? A 7-year-old kid is catching my hair and keep it in mouth, as well as he does not listen to my words sometimes. If he wish, he do that work. If he not, he will throw the items which he had. If not, he will beat and pinch to me. He is not able to sit at one place every time. He has to do something. Why? Okay, sorry, I don't know who has asked me.
This is Sairaj, if you're around here.
Sairaj, yes, I can see Ganesh Sairaj. Sairaj, looks like first thing is my child is having a lot of sensory processing difficulty. Still, self is not very integrated. That's why the day he's able to strike that balance, he listens to you, he does all his activities very nicely. But most of the time, he is not able to strike that balance of feeling comfortable within the self. That's why throwing items, pinching you. See, throwing item, pinching you is just to let you know that I'm uncomfortable. Please don't instruct me, or I don't want to do anything. 2 things. Please meet a good occupational therapist. When you meet them, try to find out whether they have some experience or some degree for pediatric occupational therapy or not. Meet them. They will sort out this almost 50%. Second, behavior modification techniques are going to be very useful over here. First thing is create a routine. Routine should be very simple. Sitting tolerance activity should be only for 2 minutes, not more than that for this child. After that, rather than my child running out of the situation, you are only giving the permission, let's go and play, or let's do this. Maybe the child is not even listening to you and running on his own. Give the word to it immediately. Yes, you can go. Yes, you can now play. Second thing is, 2 minutes of instruction following should be rewarded. Let him start predicting his schedule. As Sophia said, make things more visual in nature. Okay, try out this. And please don't forget, he definitely needs theory of mind. He definitely needs social story. Do read about it. I'm very happy to share that because of this lockdown, many of the good authors who were selling their books of theory of mind and all for 25,000, 28,000, have given free resources. Please share. Please let everyone know. Few things which I already have, I'm going to share with Ambika, and Ambika will share with you all.
Hello, madam.
Yes.
I have already shared one email address in the chat window, so please feel free to. I've just shared the contact details in the chat. I'm going to share it again in case it's sort of missed in the
Ambika, your voice is not clear.
Ambika, your voice is, yeah. Everyone will get my email ID. Please, you can send an email. I'll definitely attempt to answer all the things. I will share certain resources with Ambika in general. She is going to share with you all. Ambika, is that possible? Ambika?
I think I'm having some connection issues at my end.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Aishwarya and Ambika, thank you so much for coordinating it. Thank you all. Thank you all for listening.